So I figure I'm going to do some videos like this too, just sitting in the chairs. Not quite sure what I'm going to talk about, but probably mostly ideas for what I'd like to do with the meadery. I don't know how long these are going to be or if I'll even post them, but never know. Mostly, yeah, I want to build something that is more of an experience than just the mead. Like, especially like this place, you know, this bar that I built for myself is and was kind of my dream. Um, I had this big idea for the original meadery up in North Branch, and that didn't pan out, and that's fine. But when that didn't pan out, and I bought this house, that was one thing that was a huge seller for me, was this bar that was already down here. The bar itself was down here, and then I added obviously to it, changed up the feel of it. It was pretty much just white down here. A lot of car stuff that the former owner had down here. He was a big car enthusiast. Not really my vibe. Don't get me wrong, I like cars. I'm going to eventually rebuild a 1972 Chevelle because I had one when I was 17 and wish I had kept it, but never did. Anyway, I digress. But the bar is, I don't know, this was a huge dream for me to have something like this for myself, for entertaining, for fun. And I'd love to have it on a grander scale. I'd love to have my own meadery where I could share my mead. I could share the experience. I can, entertain people with feeling like you walked into a tavern in Lord of the Rings or Skyrim or, Legend of Zelda, something. It's always been kind of my dream. I love the fantasy world, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Absolutely love it. That's always kind of been my dream. And I'm not saying that I can't do that. It's just going to take a lot of work and a lot of understanding that I don't fully have yet. I know there's a ton of licensing and stuff that I would need to learn and understand and get to even be able to start even selling my mead on online or something. So it's going to be probably quite a while before I even come close to opening up anything. I kind of looked it over, and it would probably be like a 4-year plan to figure out a business plan, the vision, figure out a site, figure out equipment, financing, because I don't have the amount of money that it would take to open up a meadery, let alone build something that is going to fit the vibe that I want, which again is that fantasy, Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, D&D. Like I want people to walk in and feel wow type of feel. And I'm not sure if I'd want to do food or anything like that. If anything, it would be stuff like you would see at Renfest. It's going to be like, turkey, smoked turkey legs, and you know, soup in a bread bowl and things like that. That would be kind of the kind of stuff that I would want to serve. You wouldn't see like pizzas and uh, 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 you know, sandwiches and things like that. You would see stuff that you would get at Renfest. And I know that there's pizzas and, you know, that kind of stuff at Renfest, but like pickles on a stick and, uh, uh, you know, fun stuff like that. So, I mean, there would have to be a whole list of other things that I would do for food and stuff, but it's just a lot to undertake. And I figure, yeah, I've probably still got like at least 20 to 30 years left in the workforce before I retire. So I know that that's still a long time off, and that's still plenty of time to, you know, build my own business, build a, I don't know, an experience here in Minnesota that people could, you know, come and, you know, do Renfest year round. You know, I'd love to have a big piece of land to make this on, kind of like you see like with wineries and stuff where they have like, you know, these big farmland areas that, you know, have these big outdoor seating areas with Adirondack chairs and things like that. I would do more like, you know, big bonfire pits and stuff for people to sit around and um you know, talk and enjoy mead, enjoy the company. I would, you know, try to hire a lot of uh local artists for like, you know, it's kind of like that bard feel, you know, playing the guitar, playing a lute, playing whatever, flutes, or, you know, a lot of a cappella stuff, obviously, but um I just have so many different ideas that I would love to do with this whole concept. I just need to find me like some rich benefactor, I guess, to dump just piles and piles of money into. It'd be really nice, but you know, or I find a sugar mama of some sort, maybe. Yeah, who knows? Um, but I don't know. Yeah, that would be my dream. Like that's the dream for me is, you know, being the, you know, barkeep that walks around and talks to the patrons, talks to the people like, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? You know, what do you think? How's the mead? How's the food? That type of stuff. And have, you know, somebody there to run manage the business, have somebody that I can trust to make the mead. And then, yeah, be able to be the owner and be able to mingle and stuff with the people. But I think that's obviously kind of a pipe dream, but who knows? I try not to discredit anything because I do tend to believe that anything is possible. Like, yeah, is something possible? Yes. Is it, and I say this all the time actually, is it probable is the big question. Like, sure, anything's possible, but what's the probability of it actually coming to fruition or coming true? It's just one of those things that I've always kind of thought about for years. Like, what would I be What would I do if I had no limitations, nothing, no roadblocks, nothing holding me back? At this point in my life, that is what I'd like to do. You know, hosting D&D nights, tabletop gaming nights, having, uh, mead tastings, and I would even turn it into something like a wedding venue of some sort too. That would be cool. Like having almost like a event room or event building for weddings, for things like that, to host people, to do like, traditional Viking weddings, or, a fantasy wedding. But I would obviously need to be like, could be out in the woods somewhere, having like a fairy circle could be part of it. And then you come back and you party in the longhouse with your friends and family, and having, mead and probably even other drinks and stuff there, non-alcoholic stuff. You can't just have mead at a place. You got to have some non-alcoholic options for, people who are sober, who are, but still want to enjoy the experience. So having some, non-spirit options, but still have fun, where it's like, you can drink it like mead, but it's not actually alcoholic type of stuff. That'd be really cool. I don't even know if it's possible to have a non-alcoholic mead. I'm sure it's probably possible through like almost doing like a freezing process. I've seen that where people have taken, and it's almost like a distillation process where people freeze it, and then the alcohol piece of it, the ethanol, melts first because it has a lower freezing point, I think is technically, I think whatever it is. But basically the alcohol melts first, and then pretty much once all the alcohol's melted out, you unfreeze, you let the rest of it melt separately. And then you still have, I guess, the flavor, but you don't have the alcohol piece of it. So that might be a way to do it, but I would have to experiment with something like that, like to see even what the possibility is of something like that. I don't, like I said, just lots of thoughts that go through my head on a daily basis. I mean, I have a regular job, I have a good paying job. But is it what I want to do for the rest of my life? If I'm being honest, no, it's not. But if push came to shove, could I see myself retiring from this job and, living my life and maybe just doing this as a hobby, having my bar, having my own, collection of mead, my page to share with you guys? Maybe that's enough. Who knows? For now, that's what it is, though. This is just a hobby for now. I love sharing with you guys. I love hearing the feedback. I love seeing my friends light up when they see my stuff on Facebook or Instagram. My oldest son asked me today if I had thought about bringing Dragon's Oath to TikTok and sharing these videos like that. Told him I had thought about it, but I hadn't done anything with it yet. Mostly I've been doing just most of this stuff on Facebook. Little bit on Instagram, not a ton. And maybe I could do some stuff for TikTok. I don't know. Maybe I need a social media manager to handle all of this stuff, take all of these videos and these pictures and stuff that I capture and put it into something fun for people to see online. I don't know. Just so many big thoughts, big dreams. But yeah, I think that's all for now. I do have to get to bed soon. But I figured I'd record this just for fun. Plus I wanted to sit in the chair with the lanterns going. I like to sit here every once in a while, just kick back, listen to some of the tavern music that I have saved on Spotify for, I think it's like 8-9 hours worth of tavern music that I've put together. I had some friends tell me about bardcore playlists. That was pretty neat. Which is basically just like modern songs, but done in the form of like a cappella, a bard, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But they were fun. Like there was one that I just heard, it was Billie Eilish, and it was really neat. And no words or anything. It was literally just the lute slash fiddle slash flute, whatever. I don't remember what was all in it for instruments, but it was cool. It was pretty neat. But yeah, I just kind of like to sit here every once in a while, kick my feet up on the stool here, let Ramsey lay down on the floor. Right, Bubby? Yeah, hi, Bub. For those of you who don't know, this is Ramsey. This is my son's dog. He's our good boy. But he usually sits down here with me. Okay, down. All right, well, I guess if I post this, thanks for listening. I know this was probably a little bit longer video than, I don't know, Facebook usually suggests or people like to watch. But I don't really care. This is fun for me. This is, I don't know, maybe it's even therapeutic. But I like it. Helps me get my thoughts out too. I'm gonna think I'm gonna go to bed now. So thanks for listening. And have a good night.